This year, I am turning 50. Yay! I am so excited about it. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Joy of Frugal Creative Living, and my goal on this channel is to help you find ways to spend less and create more. That said, I'm so excited about turning 50, and it's not just because it's a milestone, but I'm looking forward to the decade ahead, the new adventures, new creations, fresh energy, and a deeper kind of clarity. But hitting 50 also made me pause. It's made me reflect on my 40s and everything from the shifts in my mindset and relationships to how my body and priorities have evolved. And one thing became really clear. So much of that transformation, good or bad, was connected to money in some way. And it wasn't just how much I had, but how I was using it and how I thought about it. The real growth came from making smarter, bolder financial choices. So today I'm sharing some of the most powerful money lessons and some everyday practical ones that I learned in my 40s. And they're the kind that can shape your life and your future in ways you might not expect. My first tip is, and you ready for this? Learn to say no. Learning to say no can be the most frugal tool you have, especially for women 40 and older. For me, once I crossed 40, I had a much better sense of what wasn't okay for me anymore. My tolerance for things in the periphery was reduced significantly, and I just got clear on the things that mattered to me most, which I had to do in order to be able to say no to things that didn't line up with my important things. Learning to say no is going to help you stop the people-pleasing spending. Too often we feel pressure to say yes to social events or helping someone financially. Saying no means spending money only when it actually aligns with your values, not out of guilt or obligation. Saying no is going to prevent overcommitting yourself. Whether it's your time or your money, overcommitting can lead to last minute spending like takeout because now you're too tired to cook, or those impulse buys that you use to relieve your stress. And as we age, our energy levels are already dropping. So you have to make sure that you're using your energy on the things that you've predetermined are of value and are going to move you forward in your overall purpose. Sometimes you have to say no to yourself in order to reinforce your own financial goals. And you might have to say no to those unnecessary purchases, or when you want to buy things because you're trying to keep up with somebody else's spending habits. And sometimes it's just for a season when you know that you need to stay focused on goals like debt payoff or retirement. Every no to an unnecessary obligation is a yes to your peace, your purpose, and your future prospects. Monetize your long-held hobbies. Think about it. By the time you're 40, especially coming up on 50, it is possible that you have been doing some particular thing for the last 20 to 30 years. That means you are quite possibly an expert in that thing. And maybe you don't think of yourself as an expert, but if you've been doing something for that long, chances are you know a lot more about it than a whole lot of people. It could be sewing, crocheting, knitting. I always start with the crafting. It could be cooking, building websites, fixing cars, cleaning, organizing, taking care of children, financial planning. Whatever it is, you can monetize it in some way. You can start a YouTube channel and show people how to do what you do. I wanted to start a YouTube channel when I was 41, but it took me 6 years to get up the courage and to come to the realization that the thing I get excited talking about and the strategies that I employ that help me with my finances could also be of interest to someone else. And here we are. Now, maybe YouTube isn't your method of choice. You can still do the thing you're good at for other people and charge them for your service. Teach other people how to do the thing that you're good at and charge them for the classes. You can write and sell a book. You can host a paid workshop. Just look for ways to monetize your ability to add value to someone other than yourself. And there are people out here who are willing to pay you to teach or do for them what they don't know how to do for themselves. And oftentimes as women, we don't like the idea of charging people for our service because we're so used to serving those around us for free. But your 40s and 50s are a great time to start figuring out the monetary value of the skills that you've been building for all of these years and go make you some money. Create a perimenopause pantry. Listen, the foods you buy are going to change. And I have always loved bread and pasta. I could have bread and pasta instead of meat and be completely satisfied. But guess what? This 40 plus body does not process white bread and pasta and rice the way it used to. So now my focus is on grains and whole wheat and high fiber and iron rich foods. And that means that I'm spending more on groceries or spending my grocery money in different ways than I used to. And I'm focusing now more on probiotics and herbal teas. And a lot of these foods are foods that my family doesn't really want to eat. So what I'm buying to meet my current needs are add-ons to my normal shopping. But I had to be okay with including those new foods in my grocery budget. But I also had to start looking for some foods that would meet my needs and also be tasty for my family. So for instance, as I've gotten older, my body is less tolerant to cow's milk. So I started drinking almond milk. And for a while, I was buying almond milk for myself and cow's milk for my family, which was costing too much money. So over time, I started giving them the almond milk. And then I just stopped buying the regular milk altogether, so they didn't even have a choice. So now we all just drink almond milk. But all that to say, embrace the dietary changes that are inevitable and look for ways to incorporate those new foods into your meal planning and just replace the old foods so that you can keep your grocery costs from going through the roof. Buy yourself some mid-level workout gear. Now I want you to hear me out. As we age, it becomes that much more important for us to work out. Most women enter perimenopause during their 40s, and perimenopause is just that time period before menopause actually starts. But during that time, estrogen levels are decreasing, which means our metabolism is slowing down and our bodies are not digesting food and eliminating waste the way it used to. And that's why we gain more weight. And then the weight causes problems for our backs and for our knees. I'm telling you, I hear more cracking in my knees than a little bit these days. But exercising 3 to 5 times per week for about 30 minutes per session is going to keep that metabolism up. But the hardest thing for me to grasp was that doing cardio and aerobics wasn't enough. Strength training is just as important because we start losing muscle mass, our bones get weaker, and all of that makes us more susceptible to falls and injuries. And when you strength train, you're keeping those muscles and those bones strong, and it helps you to maintain balance so that you're not toppling over under the weight of your Sunday hat. And you don't need to pay for a gym membership to work out. We all know this. Just find someone you like on YouTube. And I spent about $20 altogether on these 3 different sized weights from Five Below. My mom gave me these inexpensive training sneakers that she got from Temu, and I have my reusable water bottle, and I do my cardio workouts Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And then I do the strength training on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And for the strength training, I really recommend this channel called Fab and Fit Over 40 and Beyond with Rhoda. And she just gives the right amount of a challenge to let you know that the workout is working, but without you feeling like you're in a military boot camp. So I put the link to her channel in the description so you can check that out later on. Invest in lightweight cotton breathable pajamas. And some of you already know where I'm going with this. The night sweats. How is it that I'm cold, but I'm still sweating profusely? It makes no sense. My whole entire nighttime wardrobe had to change. All of my silk and satins had to go. Cotton and linen are breathable, which is good, but you also want to look for some PJs and clothing pieces that are moisture wicking, which means that the fabric is pulling the moisture away from the body to the outside of the fabric where it can evaporate more easily. Trust me, it is worth the money to make your sleeping hours a lot less gross. Take advantage of those senior discounts as soon as possible. And a lot of people think that senior discounts start at 65, but there are plenty that kick in at 50. And did you know that you don't even have to wait until you're 50 to start that AARP membership? My husband is a little bit older than I am. And when AARP started sending him mail about a membership a few years ago, he wasn't trying to do it. But last year I went on and signed him up, and in the process I discovered that the minimum age for membership is 18. They just focus on the 50 and up crowd. So I signed both of us up, and technically you can have two people on the one membership anyway. But the first year only cost $12 for both of us together, and we went on a family trip in December, and my discount took $20 off of the price of the hotel. So I got my membership fee back in one use. You can get discounts at so many places. Plus the app has so many useful articles and resources that the 40 plus crowd really should be paying attention to. And listen, do not be ashamed. There's a lot of benefits of getting older when you're not afraid to embrace it. Prioritize preventative healthcare spending. And it might feel kind of frugal to skip that routine dental cleaning until you've had so much decay that you need a root canal for $3,000. As we age, preventative care becomes your best financial health defense. Dentists can see things in there that we cannot see, and doctors are there to let us know if there's a problem and to help us try to solve the problems and mitigate risk factors. Catching problems early means lower medical costs, long-term, and ultimately a higher quality of life. So if you don't know, do a quick search for the cost of a routine dental and physical exam in your area. And in my area, each exam might be between $100 and $350 without insurance. But just start putting a little aside each month for that preventative care if you haven't been doing that already. Because the older we get, the more wear and tear we put on these bodies, which means they need a little bit of extra attention to stay healthy. Schedule low-cost retreats to make sure that you're reclaiming your calm. Chronic stress spikes cortisol levels, especially for women 40 plus, which can affect your sleep, your weight, and your mood. You want to make sure you're carving out regular retreat time at home if you can. Just turn off the TV, light a candle, play some relaxing music, journal. If you're like me and you still have some young ones in the house, then take a walk, pack a small lunch and go for a ride, or do what I like to do and go to your mama's house and chill. It costs little to nothing, but it helps you reset your nervous system and reduces emotional spending and supports long-term health and financial clarity. Being frugal and fabulous over 40 isn't all about cutting corners. It's really about making those smart decisions with your money and your time that intentionally address your ever-evolving needs. And some of the ways that you lived out your frugality in the past might not serve you now and in the future. So you have to reevaluate and make those adjustments. Let me know in the comments which of these tips resonated with you. And please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with a sister who needs to hear it. Share it with the men too, because they need to know what we need sometimes also. Either way, I will see you in the next video. Bye.